Sketch. Welcome back to another science class. Hi, I'm Aiden Silvestrich, and as you can see, I had to replace my hand. This is my real hand. Definitely real. I mean, look at the thing. Oh shoot! See, my real hand. I bet you're wondering. Aiden, how did you lose your hand? Or maybe you're wondering, how did you make this hand? And I'm going to tell you the story of how I made this hand. So let's go back one day and start the story. Hey, welcome back to the channel. Like I said, we're going to be building a robotic hand. So you may have seen those designs where somebody 3D prints a hand. It's actually used quite often. But you 3D print a hand basically, and then you put these strings throughout the finger, basically underneath it. And when you pull the strings, it makes the hand curl. We are going to be using that design with a little bit of my design mixed in. So I'm going to draw out what my plans are. We got my hand. Not an actual image, and then we got the robotic hand, again, not an actual image. So how this works is basically, I'm gonna have an Arduino, and then we're gonna have the arm right here, we got the strings coming down, like that. And then we have 5 servos, each one controlling an individual finger. That's 5, see? 5. And then each one is attached to a string, so when one moves, it will bend an individual finger. And then we have my hand up here, and we're gonna have these, I'm planning to have metal plates on the hand. So you got metal plates on each hand, and then you got your joints. So if I were to bend my hand, we got 2 metal plates right here. If I were to bend my hand, the metal plates would touch, and I'm gonna have that complete a circuit. So there's gonna be electricity, a charge in this one, and when it touches this one, it's gonna complete the circuit, and the Arduino is gonna detect that. So the Arduino is gonna detect when the circuit's closed, and it's gonna tell the corresponding servo on the other arm to bend the hand. It's really simple. Basically, the Arduino is just detecting if I bend my finger, and it's telling the servo on this hand to bend its finger. I'm gonna 3D print the hand. I'm gonna 3D print each individual finger. So let's go to the computer to see what I've modeled. All right, so what we've got here is the palm. These are all the places where the fingers will attach. So that's thumb, that's pinky, so this is flipped on, it's flipped over. And then we have these, and these are little tunnels that I basically created that will guide the string, because the servos are going to be on the wrist. So we have the pinky finger, and here are the string guides right here. These print on 3 separate pieces, and I'm going to use popsicle sticks as joints. Here's the middle finger, and then this is a groove for a rubber band to fit, so the finger will spring back into the straight position. Pointer and ring fingers. I'm using the same dimensions for the pointer and ring finger because they're roughly the same length. And then we have the thumb, and then this part connects to the joint on the palm. So now I need to print this. So I've glued in the popsicle sticks, and the string would be threaded through here, and that would go back to the wrist. Alright, now I need to finish 4 other fingers. Alright, so we've got all the fingers done. We got the rubber bands on, the joints in. So now I need to print out the palm, which these will all mount to. Alright, now that we've got the palm printed, these are the wire guards for the hand. So this should actually be the bottom of the palm. This would be the top. I'm going to glue on the fingers, and they glue on into these little grooves right there. So now that we're waiting for that to dry, I'm going to start making the glove. So I'm just going to take one of these gloves that you've seen me use in almost every single video. I'm going to cut up some corrugated sheet metal, and I'm just going to glue those little squares on here, and then when they touch, it completes the circuit like I told you earlier. Alright, the squares are drawn out. Now I just need to cut it out. Gluing time. Alright, oh yeah. Got all of these things super glued on. They connect to each other and everything. Let's check on our hand. So the glue is getting close to drying, but it's dry enough that I'm gonna start putting the strings through here. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this fishing line, and I'm gonna thread it through. we've got the fishing line. I pull the string, finger bends. Pretty simple. They all spring back into place because of the rubber band, and that's that. Now, I'm printing out the wrist right now. The servos are going to be mounted on the wrist. Okay, so I've glued the wrist on, and yeah, it's a very thick wrist, but that's because it needs to be able to fit a lot of servos on it. So that's why it's like so fat, basically. You know, I must say, my measurements were a little off, so everything came out like a little bigger than expected, and the fingers seem unnaturally long, that it kind of looks like this hand would belong in a horror movie. I think we lost it. Oh man. Oh man. Now I think I lost it. Alright, in all seriousness, that probably wouldn't be a very good horror movie anyway. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing now on the hand is we're going to be adding on servos. These are just micro servos, they're 9 grams. So, right now, I have the servos hooked up to the hand, actually. So that's what I've done. So I've tied the fishing line to the servos, and I've attached each servo to the hand. So now, if I wanted to bend a certain finger, I'd have the servo move. And as you can see, that's bending the finger. And each one is hooked up to a different finger. So you know it bends another finger. So now I need to focus on how am I going to program these servos to run. So we have this line right here, which is basically just setting up the servo to run within Arduino. Int servo pin equals 9, so that's saying that pin 9, the name for pin 9 is going to be servo pin. Value, I made an integer called value, and it is equal to 0. Servo is equal to servo 1. So servo 1 is just another name for servo, that's what I'm going to be calling it. So same as servo pin, it just equals that. Pin mode 2, input in the void setup. So pin 2 on the board is now an input, which means that their power is detecting if power is going into it, but it's not outputting any power. And the servo 1.attach servo pin, that's basically saying servo 1 is going to communicate with pin 9. Then we have in the void loop, value equals digital, val equals digital read 2. So that's basically detecting if there's power. It's reading to see if pin 2 has any power going to it. If it reads high, and high just means if it's getting power, if it's on, then the servo 1, which is the servo, .write 0. And the write 0, basically the write command is telling the servo to go to a specific angle. And so the 0 is 0 degrees, so it will rotate to 0 degrees. And then if the value goes low, which is no power at all, the servo wants to go to 180 degrees. So basically if I were to have the finger move and I touch those two leads right there, two contacts, then it makes the finger bend because the servo will move 180 degrees. Where I want to demonstrate what the hardware would look like. Alright, so this is the hardware setup. We've got our button, which closes the circuit, and then the Arduino detects that. So if I were to press down the button, the servo spins 180 degrees, and I let go of the button, it spins back to 0 degrees. So when I bend my hand and those two plates connect, that's like the button is being pressed, the servo will do that, and then when I let go, it will unbend and the hand will spring back into place. Okay, so it's done, as you can see. It's changed a lot since I last showed you. I've hooked up all the different servo motors, that's all the wiring on here, everything's hooked up to the Arduino, and then we have our hand leads hooked up, so it detects when everything is touched and everything. So I put my hand in here, and let's demonstrate it. If I were to bend my hand, I touch these two leads, corresponding servo moves. Let go, moves back. Pretty cool, huh? I think so. So, I don't know what happened, but for some reason the pinky has stopped working. And I think the servo motor might have gone bad. I'm not sure if it's from overuse or not, but it's doing weird stuff. The wiring's all fine, so sadly the pinky does not work. I do have a clip of it working. Anywho, so that was the clip of it working. I think it's pretty cool. Obviously this thing is already been invented. I mean, this is nothing new. Scientists have gotten a lot farther than this. And also I'd like to point out that there are possible upgrades that could do this. It's either, right now it's either all the way bent or all the way back. But I could have some kind of like motion control camera or something. But I wanted to keep this a little simple. So this is what you get. Let's do a test. Let's see if I can grab this. Kind of works. Catch. This project went just as well as I was hoping it would. I'm just confused about why that pinky servo broke, and I'm done with this project. It took me about a week to build. It was fun to do, but you know, it's not the most practical thing. There are upgrades to it. It might have a real world use, but that's that for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.